2 years ago I caught my wife trying to step out on our marriage. She insists that she did nothing wrong and that I misinterpreted the entire thing. Can you give me an outside perspective on my situation? Am I wrong in my assumptions? First of all, thank you in advance. Here's my story. I am currently in the middle of a divorce after a 13-year marriage. I'm asking my question because I'm trying to find a sense of closure and peace, and this whole situation has remained like an open wound for me, preventing me from achieving the peace and closure I want. I don't deny my own contributions to the failure of my marriage, nor do I even deny how my own behavior even contributed to pushing her towards stepping out on our marriage, but in the end she made her own choice to do so. For clarity, I had remained loyal to my wife and marriage for the entire life of the relationship. 2 years ago our marriage was already in a rough place. I had moved to my wife's home country when we got married and left a successful, well-paying career to do so, thinking I would be able to pursue the same career there. That was not the case. Eventually I found myself having to start over again from scratch, and I struggled for years to try to establish myself again. I was never able to get back to the same place I was before. My STB ex-wife is a specialized physician with dreams of owning property in the city we live. I felt a lot of pressure to deliver and generate enough income to help make that come true. In time, I realized that it was not something I would be able to do. At the time I had just started a new job in direct sales related to the timeshare industry. It was a dirty, shady business, but it offered a higher income than anything else I had ever found. I saw it as an opportunity to finally be able to meet my wife at the same financial level she was at. It was very high-pressure work and required me to essentially be a lying, unethical sack of shit, my opinion of it, and that's just not who I am. So naturally, I didn't do too well. It had a very negative effect on my mental health, and I eventually had a full mental breakdown in the middle of it all. Things were not good in our relationship, and my wife offered no emotional support during this time. In fact, she was openly hostile most of the time. It was obvious to me that, mentally, she had already checked out of the relationship. Our 10th wedding anniversary came and went without much fanfare, and since it fell on a workday, we didn't do much for it. I had hoped that we would be able to go out that weekend and try and rekindle something. That same week, she tells me that she was going to go out to dinner with her longtime friend, who is also her boss at a clinic she does work for. I was a bit taken aback as it was our anniversary weekend and she had decided to spend it with someone else. I felt, more than knew, where things were going. But I chose not to say anything, just observe. The day of her dinner date, I watch her get dressed and ready without saying anything. She dressed to the nines, far more than one would expect for a friendly dinner with a friend, a very successful and wealthy married friend with a history of infidelity. Again, I could feel, more than know, where her energy was and what her intentions were, and it just broke my heart. Still, I said nothing, I just watched her. I have always been highly sensitive and intuitive, and throughout my life my intuitions have rarely been wrong, so I've learned to trust and listen to them. And my intuition was screaming at me, telling me what was going on, but I didn't say anything. I wanted to see what she was going to do. To be honest, when she walked out the door to leave that night, my heart broke and I broke down in tears. She came home around 3 a.m. that night. I was in bed, but wasn't asleep. When she leaned in for a goodnight kiss, I turned away and confronted her. I accused her of stepping out and all hell broke loose. Naturally, she denied everything, claiming it was an innocent dinner with a friend. In the middle of all the chaos and tears, she let it slip that her friend hadn't even paid her any attention. My interpretation of that slip was she had gone out with the intention of stepping out, but her friend essentially rejected her. She insisted that she had dressed up nice because she wanted to, and came home so late because she had lost track of time. The next day, when I was doing laundry and going through what she had worn the previous night, I find the matching set of Victoria's Secret lingerie she had worn to her dinner date. This was a woman who rarely wore things like that, even for me. She is a bit of a prude, and for 10 years she daily wore boring granny panties and mismatched bra. I confronted her again, challenging her stance that it was just a friendly dinner date. She was surprised by it, I assume because she hadn't thought that I would catch that, and again insisted that she had worn it just because, that she had had a formal event earlier that previous day to justify why she had been so dolled up. All of it had an air of backtracking and self-defense. Within a couple days she apologized and acted genuinely remorseful for what had happened. I was still devastated, and though my initial reaction had been to end the marriage immediately, I took her apology to heart and thought that maybe it was something that we could move past for the sake of the marriage. Unfortunately, a month later I found that she had completely changed her story. She insisted that she had done nothing wrong, nothing had happened, that I was imagining the entire thing, and that I was in the wrong for daring to accuse her of such a thing. Needless to say, it felt like pouring salt on an already open wound, a real kick in the balls. This has been her default position since then and remains adamant to it, even now in the middle of our divorce. 2 weeks after the event, I came into a large inheritance. Foolishly, I thought that the money would help resolve our marriage issues. I spent the next 2 years and most of that money trying to make things work. It did not resolve anything. In hindsight now, I can see that our marriage ended that night when she stepped out, at least for me, and nothing could have saved it. I was just too attached and too afraid to let go. I spent the last 2 years harboring anger and resentment for her, and that night would come up time and time again in arguments. She has remained insistent the entire time that she had done nothing wrong and that I was the one in the wrong for daring to accuse her. This has been a deep, unresolved wound in my heart for over 2 years now, and try as I may I have not been able to shake it. I desire greatly to find closure so that I can finally let this go, to be able to heal and release all the anger and resentment I feel towards her. It's like a poison in me and I deeply desire to be rid of it. What I really want is another perspective, as there is a part of me that truly wants to believe her, but a greater part of me that simply can't. I have been in conflict with myself about it. The truth is that I have no idea what really happened that night on her dinner date. She could have gone and had her brains fucked out, or it could have been an innocent dinner between friends. I honestly don't know. The best benefit of the doubt I can give her is that she went out that night with full intention of stepping out on me, but just wasn't able to secure what she wanted. My question is, am I wrong in my conclusion? Am I seeing things that were never there? And even if I'm not, did I overreact in seeing it as cheating, even if, at best case scenario, nothing happened despite her efforts to the contrary? My heart and mind are really at a loss to provide me with a conclusion that can provide me closure with this. I would greatly appreciate your take and your opinion on the matter, no matter what it is. I just need a different set of eyes to see it and to give me their opinion. Apologies for the length of my rant, but as I stated earlier, this has been and still is a massive open wound for me. Thank you in advance for your insights.
Relevant comment. W8LFG8DSM8GIC. Even going on a date is cheating, and on your anniversary weekend? She chose her friend over you and celebrating your marriage. That's cheating. And who's to say she wasn't in touch with this friend for a while? That in itself is emotional cheating and still cheating. And to wear lingerie for a date, she had the intention, which is also cheating. And she stayed out till 3 a.m. She cheated. Because why would she stay if she's being ignored, especially till 3 a.m.? Cheaters cheat because they have no self-love, self-respect, or integrity and are always looking outside of themselves for validation and fulfillment. Until they take accountability and do the inner work for themselves, they won't change. Always follow your intuition. Focus on you. Choose you. Know your worth. Love yourself first. Firm loving boundaries. Holding you in all the courage, strength, healing magic, love and light and big hugs. Ilbase 2947. Cheating is the least of your worries. She doesn't love or respect you and probably looks down on you and your lack of success. I would focus away from the cheating and ask yourself if you are happy to stay in a toxic environment that you feel pressured to be something that you are not. I would go home where you were successful and reclaim your former life and family. Most marriages fail for various reasons. Do not blame yourself or your wife. People change and not always for the better.
OP. Thank you so much for your kind words. I hadn't been happy in that relationship for a long time, neither of us had been. The cheating was just the nail in the coffin for a relationship that had already ended. Thank you for your insight,